7:46 here on your Friday morning wake-up call. Now it's time for Friday with the Fuzz. We do every single Friday. Now here is Mr. Michael Greene.
Thank you, Derek. In studio with us this Friday, as most all Fridays, is Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Swoboda. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone.
Thank you. Good Friday to you.
It is.
Hopefully a great weekend ahead.
Beautiful weather these past few days. Yeah, it's been awesome.
You guys have been busy. Good.
Very.
Some not, all crime's bad, right?
Right.
But all things considered, be a lot of good things, and I think we want to talk about a lot of the kind of proactive stuff that you're doing as well. But a couple of cases I wanted to touch on. Give it as much time as you need or as little time. But a couple of things that came out, some press releases came out throughout the week. There was a woman, I guess, evidently stopped for a DUI, a Carpentersville resident, charged with aggravated DUI without license or insurance, and then evidently offering a $2,000 bribe to police while she was being transported to the Elgin Police Department, which I'm sure probably, I don't know, does this happen more than people maybe realize, or does it not happen very often? And what I liked best about this was in the release where the police report stated basically was that in-squad surveillance footage of said bribery was saved for further review. Because if it comes down to you stating, right, that they said this versus, well, here's videotape evidence of it, pretty hard to argue.
Yeah, and that's one of the real nice things we have. We've had video in our squads for, I don't even know how long, but probably close to 10 years. But
in every squad?
Yeah. Every one of our marked squads, we started moving towards our unmarked have them, but not all unmarked have them. But the ones that are out there generally doing the traffic stops, we make sure that there's video for it, and there's audio. Officers wear microphones, and it was an exception to the eavesdropping law, and so traffic stops are covered. So
when you guys decided that years ago, before you even get to that, was there one thing that kind of happened where you went, boy, it really would have been nice if we'd had this, and then went with it, or was it just an accumulation of things where you said, hey, let's look into getting in-squad cameras?
I wasn't part of the decision as much as I remember, just that there was discussions about it, and it just makes a lot of sense, as police officers, as we're out there, and, people stop, right away many times when they say, okay, we have a video of it, so you're sitting there watching a stop sign and a car rolls through it, and now it's on video. I turn on my lights, the camera goes back so many seconds, so it'll always, when you turn on your lights, it'll actually, because it's a digital type format, so it can go back and actually start recording 30 seconds before the lights actually went on. And so it's very easy to then show the video, and it just stops a lot of issues right off the bat. Talk also about the microphones on the officers, and so many times people say, oh, the officer is very rude, the officer called me a name or whatever, and we're able to videotape or go back and listen to the audio and say, well, we have the entire audio, let's listen to it, and many times it'd make the complaints go away. But there are also other times where you listen to it and you talk to the officer and say, yeah, you were a little rude there. You need your tone, just write the ticket and send them on their way. So it's been a learning experience for everyone, but I think it's been very successful. I think it was a good call a long time ago. So when things like this happen, I think it happens, kind of regularly, but not to the extent where somebody's really talking about dollar amount and saying, can I give you thousands of dollars to make this go away?
Like general statements like, I'll do anything, please let me go.
Anything please. I can do, right. My family owns this, you guys, for whatever. So they kind of just more sometimes veiled, and you kind of just brush it off most times. But it sounds as if
that's kind of this almost an innocent, but this one a little overboard.
Right, went down with a specific dollar amount. Sounds like kept doing it over and over again, and many times, when I've had people say something like that, is there anything I could do? Absolutely not. You're going to get a ticket or whatever. You're going to be arrested. You're going to go down. You'll have a chance to post bond, and then you show up in court. And so I think once people realize that there is no wiggle room for this, they just stop. But it appears in this one maybe she kept going with it and wanting to give specific dollar amounts, and so the officer charged her appropriately. So yeah, you don't see it every day. It happens kind of, like I said, kind of the veiled ones, innocent, maybe a little bit more innocent ones of somebody saying that, but this one was actually a charge, which we don't, maybe, I don't even know if we do one a year that we actually charge somebody with. It doesn't happen very often.
I was going to say, I've been doing this, I think, almost 9 years, and it's the first one I've seen, anyway, where...
I'm sure there's been a few since then, but
nothing that I recall that came out top of mind, so... a couple other cases throughout the week. There was a search warrant issued at 700 block of North Grove Avenue. It appears that after receiving information from the Illinois Attorney General's Task Force on Internet Crimes Against Children, and I know this seems to be in the news all the time. So search warrant, unfortunately, it's just, it's really a sad situation, but police officers go in and take some computers, some numerous images of child pornography. He's charged with, I believe, 10 counts, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure that the amount of
Yeah.
there were multiple counts. I'm not sure the number, but yeah, we get the information, and there are
10 counts of possession of child pornography, Class 2 felony.
Mm-hmm.
So a 26-year-old gentleman from here in Elgin, Samuel Galvin. So did you work closely with a lot of different? I mean, this wasn't even your investigation necessarily, right? I mean, this was somebody kind of on the outside that, because it's happening in Elgin, says to you, "Hey, this is what we've got," and then how do you proceed from there?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that these can come up. Many people are familiar with the TV show, To Catch a Predator, and so when people are doing kind of these stings where officers are online, talking with people and trying to get those going.
Aurora just had something where they place an ad on some website or something, and people were showing up because they thought they were meeting 13, 14-year-old children.
Right. The last one I saw too was I know Naperville has been very active in this area. At least I know in the past. And so we'll get information that way. So it's not anybody, somebody might be talking and being inappropriate with a juvenile online, but then not drive all the way out and say, I'm not going to go and meet you, but still maybe forward the information to us so that we can then, be prepared that somebody in our community is doing this. Also, just, with technology being what it is, it's very easy to, all pictures now have kind of and I don't want to talk as if I know all this because I'll just on a very high level have kind of a code attached to them.
That deal with
exactly. They have a code attached with them, and so those codes are kind of flagged. So anytime this picture is moved anywhere across the internet, it can be flagged. And so same thing with video. And then there are these national databases that, and that's where we got this one might have been a state one, that saw that this picture was being moved, or pictures were being moved to Elgin, and notified us, and our detectives worked on it. We have, in our major investigations division, we have a couple people, one deals with specifically with financial crime, another one is computer forensics, so deals a lot with cell phones, deals a lot with actual computers when we have anything, whether it's a financial crime or some other type of crime going on where a computer was used. And so we can then work on it that way. So those detectives generally take the lead, and we did the search warrant, and were able to find what we were looking for, and more, it sounds like, and multiple charges were brought forward against them. So, if people are having, hearing of certain things or coming across information, when we have stuff like this, we want to make sure we get it out to the community because, it's going on in our neighborhoods. People ask me times, well, why do we have to put certain things out that, looks terrible? And it's, if you, not talking about this case,
right,
but talking in general, if your neighbor's doing things that potentially might be harmful to your kids,
would really want to know if someone,
and we had that information and didn't put it out, so we, follow the rules on what information can go out. The press has access to all of our reports pretty much online immediately, and so they're able to pull that stuff up. Now, this one probably wouldn't fall in it because it has multiple, the investigation was taking some time, but anybody can go online and see, the calls for service. We talk about crimereports.com and pull up, why was the squad car over here? Why was the squad car over there? And so we work very closely with them so that people can, at any time, multiple times a day, it's updated so that people can see where the calls for service are around in the community. And so just we're real big with making sure people have the information they need to make appropriate choices and also see all the different things that we're working on here in the police department.
Before I kind of get into some of the stuff that you've either done in the past week or what you got coming up, we had an attempted armed robbery, 0 to 100 block of Mulford Drive. A couple guys outside fixing a vehicle when evidently 3 male subjects walked up and robbed them with at gunpoint.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And to get the time on there, I know it was 10:30 at night. Yeah, they're out working on their car and standing by their car, and a couple other individuals come out. And what's that?
Hard to see your car at 10:30 at night, but you got a big
lights
light or
and
something.
things. Right, exactly. Working on it, and a couple individuals came out and again tried to wanted to take some of the belongings of the victims. At one point, a shot was fired. Nobody was injured.
Find ballistic or did shell casing or anything found? Or?
I'm not.
I didn't say it here. I wasn't sure. Yeah,
but it's definitely taken it as a legitimate armed robbery.
That's
right.
kind of what I was.
Stuff. Yeah, and so still working on that. Really, nothing much more to go on. Kind of a not a strange one necessarily, but we don't. You know, a lot of times we do have people just walking by, and sometimes we find that when robberies occur, as we push a little harder on the victim. Okay, it was as we talked. Craigslist or. Well, why'd you give the guy $100? Well, he was going to go run an errand for me, and so it's like, it's not really a robbery.
That was in this case.
No,
but a lot of times,
this one is one that legitimately sounds they were out working on their car and approached, and their wallet was stolen. So we're working on that one, and those were kind of the three of the bigger ones that came up in the past week.
Had a bunch of stuff going on this past week. Had some things coming up. I know you named your officers, or your not officers because they're not all officers, but your employees of the quarter.
Yes.
You had a walk with the mayor recently, and I know that. Some circles has taken some heat as to where that was.
It was in my neighborhood.
Where it took place. It was in your neighborhood.
Yeah. All the officers that were out there was like, oh,
well, it's nice of you to pick your neighborhood to do that.
I did. All right. I told the mayor where to go, when to go. Right. Exactly. No.
These are all kind of really predetermined, and the mayor picks all of them, and all the neighborhoods deserve and to be visited, right?
Oh.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean. I think that's one of the cool things about the mayor's walk, and we actually we just did a walk and talk as well, where the officers do it similar but a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if the mayor picks himself or just kind of works with members in City Hall and staff and determining. But I know he just tries to get to many different neighborhoods and just walk around, ask the residents to come out and talk about what's going on in the neighborhood. And you can pick some neighborhoods, and it's all it might be crime issues and what's going on with code enforcement here. So there might be code enforcement issues. Other areas might not be anything, but it's a great time to kind of fellowship. And we talked about, I could tell in Shadow Hill, some of the issues were speeding. And so I think what's really cool is realizing that every neighborhood deserves an opportunity to get out and walk, and if city officials, myself or the mayor or anybody else is showing up. And just have a nice walk and see what's going on. I mean, some of the discussions that were going on in my neighborhood were, what's going on with these trees. There were some dead trees, speeding, and that's in many neighborhoods. And so it was a great time. But, the officers were like, oh, this is nice for you, because I was able to just kind of walk down the street to meet up with it. But I go to most of the mayor's walks, and we have a lot of officers that are out there. I think any given time during one of the mayor's walks, we'll probably have between 5 and 10 officers. And so members of our gang unit, members of our traffic division. And we kind of have, we try to have a few representatives from all work units, so that, again, every resident in every neighborhood deserves an opportunity to kind of talk and see what's going on. And kind of the same thing, residents don't always want to call when it's something minor. And so when the mayor's there or police officers are there, they can ask about those minor things in a very non-threatening way. And so we just did we did one of our walk and talks out in Randall Ridge, and the feedback coming back on social media, and I know I got multiple emails like, I've never lived in a community before where a police officer came and knocked on my door and asked me, is there anything going on, anything we can help you with? And I think that's one of the cool things. We've been doing our walk and talks for the past 5 years within the police department, and every time we do it, we learn something new. The residents seem to really like it, and that's the kind of stuff I like, because it's being out there with real residents, not people who have an axe to grind or people constantly complaining about a certain thing and hear it over and over again. The real the residents who are have sometimes real issues, and sometimes they don't, and just thank you for your service. And but it's still a good chance to get to know somebody and help them out if they need a little help with something.
You had your employees of the quarter named. I know a couple that have been on this show before. Russ Matson, right?
Yeah.
We also had Officer James Rod, and then there were a couple others I don't know that I've met before.
Officer Houghton, it was the Special Division Officer of the Quarter, and he works in our Major Investigation Division, kind of a newer detective, but very hard charger, been working really hard, solving some great cases, and so he was put in and awarded that, so I was able to go to they had a meeting with all the detectives, and we were able to give him his award this week. And then Midnight Shift Officer Duffy, and he's one of our Midnight Shift officers, actually a newer officer, was just sworn in, I think it was December, where he was part of the large group when we did 10. Excuse me, but was able to already make some great arrests and works the midnight shift right now, and is just doing a great job, as are many of our newer officers. Really kind of hit the ground running here at the Elgin Police Department, and is doing a fantastic job. So I was able to show up to the midnight shift roll call this week and talk with them. Commander O'Shea, Deputy Chief Wolf were there, and we just really just not thanked just him, but also the midnight shift is a kind of a group that doesn't
see a lot of people,
doesn't see it, and I don't get there as often as I should, and many other administration doesn't get there. We don't get there as often as we should, but it's it's a group that, as I said, they go out to work with the group that they have. It's not like if something happened today, I couldn't run out and help, or anybody else that's working in the station. We have many people that work daytime hours. Midnight shift is the group you go out to with after roll call. They are, the detectives aren't working. They're out there, and so it's a group that gets, as all of our shifts get, cohesive, but this one really works well together. And so as we put some new officers on there, they learn many valuable skills, and it's one I showed up and just really said thank you, because as people that we've talked before, as people want to comment about police or say whatever they want about police, I tell you, you show up at our roll calls and look at the faces of the officers that we have here in Elgin, and the supervisors we have supervising them. I mean, they're such a quality group of people, and so our night shift is certainly an example of that. So showed up, gave out the award, and it was a nice week, as we got our mascot in the studio. George is here. So that was a good time.
You had the Triad Summer Picnic went on, Lao Summer Camp, and Rope Camp.
Yeah.
Anything you can tell us about any of those?
Real quick, the Triad Picnic was yesterday, and geez, over 300 people out there at Willow Lakes. I know Sherry was running around crazy out there. It's a busy time. Commander Lally, again, Deputy Chief Wolf, we were all out there. Many of our supervisors, Lieutenant Trost, Sergeant Santiago. We had such a fantastic time out there. We do every year. The sheriff's office was out there. The sheriff was there, and a couple of his officers. I know South Elgin was there, and it's just a time again where people come together through Triad, which is the group that really deals with seniors, and through Kane County, Elgin Police, South Elgin Police, and there was some entertainment, and it was fantastic weather. Again, over 300 residents from Elgin, actually a few other communities as well came out. Just a great time. Again, one of my favorite picnics to go to all year. Just a lot of fun. I love working with our seniors, and they're so appreciative of what we in the police department do. And so I know I'm very appreciative about what they've done over their course of their lives for Elgin and whatever communities they live in now. But a lot of fun. And then went out to Rope Camp last night. And Rope Camp's another time. We have, I think, maybe 30-something kids out there with our resident officers, and we go up to Lake Geneva.
I love that program.
It's
so
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And you want to know the coolest thing about it? I've been going to Rope Camp now for... geez, we were just talking about last night, maybe 19 years or something, and so we're back to the original Rope Camp location, and not a whole lot's changed. Some has changed. The accommodations are a little nicer than I remember when I was there. Food was a little better too, but the cool thing is we have some of our explorers that are there who are now, they're in the Explorer program. They want to be police officers, but they went to Rope Camp with their resident officer back 10, 15 years ago, and so it's that's the kind of stuff that's working when we're dealing with this with the Elgin Police Department, is working with the community in partnership, so that then we identify kids that maybe want to get into law enforcement or firefighting or whatever they want to get into. The Explorer program is such a cool program, and we're able to then kind of give them some more leadership skills, and then hopefully move on to whatever they want to be when they grow up. But it's just neat to see we have a couple of our Explorers now getting ready to become police officers that kind of went away with us to Rope Camp. And so I still remember one of my favorite stories is driving up to Rope Camp. These days we drove up, and we had we put the kids in our squad cars and drove up there, and all of a sudden they started laughing hysterically just 20 minutes outside of town. And it was because they saw cows and they smelled cows. And it was the first time that they couldn't believe that cows were so close to Elgin, and made me realize that many kids are just, all they know is their neighborhood. And they don't realize how big the world is. So little programs like this, where it might not seem like to be a big deal, they're just going to Lake Geneva, opens their eyes of just all the different things that are out there in this world. And so sometimes you can get past some of the petty stuff that goes on in a neighborhood, maybe not join a gang, maybe not try drugs, because you see, man, I want to go back up to Lake Geneva someday and be a camp counselor. I want to, learn how to drive a boat or whatever it is. And so it was just a lot of fun. So I was out on the pontoon boat with them, they had dinner, they're about to do a campfire, a night hike. Just a great program. So I'm proud of our officers, but even more proud of all the kids that go up there and just have a great time and come back and become role models maybe for other kids in their neighborhoods.
Keep track of the participants from the camp?
We should.
Or
not as good as we should.
Like how many?
Yes, we do keep track of that. Yeah, we do keep track of that. In fact, there's going to be a story coming out, because I just heard about it. I heard about it maybe a little while ago, but now we're going to do more with it. One of our newer officers was in a picture with a police officer 15 years ago as a little kid, and now he's a police officer becoming a resident officer. So it's those stories that make me proud, and see that the things we're doing when we're interacting with the community and with the kids in the neighborhood, that stuff is working with the police department. So that's the stuff that I'm proud of. We're going to keep really publicizing that and keep pushing that, because the more we do that stuff on the proactive end, I truly believe that we'll have less and less crime things to talk about here.
Yeah, it's not when you catch them as adults committing crimes that I don't think, you know.
Then we all fail, right?
Yeah,
then it's,
yeah.
Then it's,
get them early.
Get them early.
Exactly.
And so I think that's where the kind of the recipe we have here in Elgin really is working. It doesn't mean we don't have crime that occurs from time to time, because Lord knows we do. And so and that's when we still have great detectives, as we talked about, and officers who go out there and still put the bad guys in jail, and hopefully when they get out they don't do it again. But definitely if we can keep kids from making bad choices, that's where it's I think we are at our best.
Great, good stuff, Jeff. Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Swoboda, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You have a great weekend. Anything else that you needed?
No, George is fired up. Do we need to call Officer Rogg in here to?
I know.
I mean, he's a little out of control. See?
There we go. All right.
No, I appreciate it, guys. You guys have a fantastic weekend.
You too. Thanks, Jeff.
You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN.
And Elgin.